This is not the usual inspirational content you've grown used to hearing. In fact, this may hurt a little bit. So we're all familiar with Jesus' final commandment. It's called the Great Commission. It's out of Matthew chapter 28, where he says, "Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you." We know that statement. We are to go and make disciples. Disciples, followers of Jesus, are to go and make more followers of Jesus. And that extends to every one of us. But it's not the only time that Jesus talks about people going and making disciples. For that, you have to back up a week. Matthew chapter 23, this is the week before Jesus dies. He's talking to a group of deeply religious people, and he rebukes them. He says this, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are." Both groups of people are going and making disciples. One group of people are making disciples of heaven. The other group is making disciples of hell. So what's the difference? Well, who you are inside matters, because who you are on the inside is what you're going to replicate on the outside. You know, the religious leaders, these deeply religious folks that Jesus is rebuking, they said all the right prayers. They went to synagogue, they observed the Sabbath, they obeyed the laws, they did all the right religious things, but they are making children of hell, disciples of hell, as Jesus talks about. Like, on the outside, they got everything right, but on the inside, they're so far from God. They are corrupt, and that's what you replicate. You know, every one of us impacts people we're around. We impact the people in our house. We impact the people we hang out with, our coworkers, all the above. We impact others. We help form who they become. We call that discipleship. We are making them into something they weren't before. The question is, are we making them disciples of heaven, or are we making them more disciples of hell? It comes down to who we are. Paul talks about this in any number of list forms in the New Testament. I picked the one out of Colossians, but he says this. He says, "Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature." And then he names some things: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. He says, because of these, the wrath of God is coming. God doesn't tolerate this type of stuff, this inner life behavior. He says, you used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must also rid yourselves of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices and put on the new self, which is being renewed in the knowledge of the image of its creator. Paul says your inner life matters because it bleeds into your outer life. Who you are on the inside impacts how you disciple another person, how you form another person. So the question is, in your walk with Jesus, have you let Jesus do the work of healing and molding and forming your inner life to get rid of these things that Paul talks about? Or do you tolerate this stuff in your life? And therefore, the way that you rub off on others is leading them closer to hell. I told you, not the most inspirational content, but it was blowing my mind this week. It's a challenge. Both groups are making disciples. Which one do you fall into? If you like this video, leave a like, drop a comment, follow for more. I'll see you soon.